Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tea. Okay, today we're going to title this video The Whole Kit and Caboodle, Mo Norman particle and the mechanics. All the bits that you really need, according to JH, to work into your Mo mechanics if you're going to use Mo mechanics. And you can work them in any way you like, your own versions of them, whatever you like. But this is basically what I do. Okay guys, we were talking about the particle the other day, in that we've got that lead with the lead hand and arm. We lead it to here, then we back out of the lead and we apply the atomic particle right at the last possible instant, which is the trail hand hammer time smash. So that's really important that we pull with that to here. The problem I had in the past was that I kept pulling here, and then I couldn't apply the atomic particle because the pull was inhibiting the smash factor. I just couldn't do it. For me, Mo clearly pulls a lot harder than I do, but I couldn't do it. And I think for us mere mortals, it's a tough thing to do. He had a lot of hip extensor flexibility, which I have none, or very little. And he could slide laterally and he could pull harder like that. Okay, so that's really important. The other component is that as we start down, we turn this trail leg clockwise that way. Now what that immediately does, guys, the benefit of that is as soon as you turn it that way, it drives the weight back towards the inside of the trail heel, and it gets the trail leg inside the lead leg, and we get that basic rump and buttock squat. As we started down, I try and turn it that way, which gives me a feeling that I'm going obliquely towards the ball. I'm not going lateral in the true sense of the word as a feeling for me, because if I go too lateral, I really can't keep that pressure on that trail leg on the inside. If I go like that, it feels like it wants to release it actually. So I go obliquely. Now that keeps the weight on that trail heel. It also keeps those hips closed, keeps the torso closed, and keeps the shoulders closed. And I get my inside out attack on the ball. Now that does a lot for me. Just that process of turning that right leg that way and keeping this configuration on the downswing. Now the other thing which is really important is that once we've established that and we're coming in here for our hit factor, we want to apply the smash factor in the last instant from a completely stabilized position. We don't want to be trying to rotate out of the shot, get anything going with the body. We want to be basically what Mo used to said to me, and I never heard him say it to anybody else. He said, you've got to stay seated for the performance. Seated for the performance. He goes down to the ball, not up and away from the ball. So that's really important. The other side of the equation, or the other important component, is to make sure that your thinking doesn't track along the lines of, I've got to keep the club going down the line like that. Because that's the worst thing you can do. You have to let the golf club release. It has to release. Here. And those back on pictures of Mo, videos of Mo, show him over here and then bringing the club back, which is the confusion factor. So don't try and drive it down the line. Just let it, when you smash it in there with the smash factor or the atomic particle at the last instant, just let it release naturally around the body. But don't you rotate the body around other than that amount. You can, after you finish, you just release the pressure. Now the other thing, guys, which is really, we talk about an atom and the nuclei in an atom and all the other little bits, and I'm not a atomic physicist or a nuclear physicist. I know nothing about atoms or the composition of atoms. But if I can use my own terminology here and say one of the really important parts of that atom, one of the real nuclei, if there is such a thing, and I've heard that terminology before, is this, guys. That once we've taken the club, or I'll go back a bit, away from the ball, it's just the trail arm straight around the rib cage, almost like you're pulling it back like that. It's not that. I know Mo talks about that, but he never did that. And I mentioned it to him. I said, well, Mo, it's a correct perception, but it's an incorrect body science. I mean, you think you do that, but you don't do that. He just basically just folds his right arm around the rib cage here. So for me, it's basically a straight back movement. It's not a sideways movement at all. Not at all. I don't want any extension like that. I just want to take it here. And if I pull that back, guys, watch what happens. If I pull that back, it actually pulls my lead side across into a nice pivot. But if I try and force it down there, this stalls up. Now, one thing we saw with Mo is he had a beautiful pivot. Great shoulder turn, great left leg, very Hogan-esque with the left leg pivot, same as Sneed, to the ball, not that way. Now that's really important. Now the other thing that I've really only been applying in the last few days, because I knew about it initially when I spoke to Mo in the first day. I said I saw something in his golf swing. I said, Mo, I see this in your golf swing where the butt goes at the golf ball there, like that. You do it even on bunker shots. Goes there. And I've had other videos where I talk about butting. But how do you butt? Butting is really tough. You can't just take it back here like that and then just do that. That doesn't work. How the butting happens is that once we've gone here, the downswing movement, that turning of the trail leg that way, should put the club in this orientation here. Now watch what happens when I get here. If I get the club in that orientation there, the butt automatically points at the ball. It automatically points there. I'm not trying to drive it there like that. It goes there as a result as soon as I turn it. Now the first time I ever saw Mo, he was standing over in a corner away from the natural golf guys, and he was doing this like that. And I said, what is he doing? And they said he does that sometimes. He'll stand there for quite a while just doing that. Gets that feeling. Now you would think that you would get in that position, you could never recover from that. Now you don't get in that actual position, but that's the perceptual feel that you should endeavour to create and manifest. You will not get in that position here, but I feel after I've gone there that I go here. Club falls this way, tips this way. If you understand about rotator cuff exercises, guy, that's called external rotation. That is an external rotation of the rotator cuff there. Now I feel that in the, and I've actually got a tear in mine at the moment, so I heard it a couple of days ago in the gym. It's only minor, but it's, and all the stuff I've done over the years, and I've never had a problem, but just trying to compete with some young guys. And so guys, that's external rotation of the rotator cuff. That's the feeling I want. After I've gone here, I want to feel that I've got this here going in the downswing. Now that is the nuclei of the atomic particle to start the downswing, and that will create the butting for you. When I first learned of it in 1991, first time I saw Mo, I really couldn't come to grips with it. When I came back to Australia, I tried it and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I really didn't understand how to tip that club back. But what I do now is that after I've gone around the rib cage on the backswing here, I basically just do that. I just drop the club that way. As soon as I drop it, the butt points at the ball. Now it's not easy, guys. It's probably the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. And you can put all those other bits of the Mo mechanics in train, and you don't really have to have that. But if you really want to put the cherry on the cake, you have to have that nuclei of the atomic particle. You really got to have that. And I've only been working on it for the last 3 days, and I really wanted to put it in this presentation, and I got it yesterday in the morning about 10 o'clock, and I had it all day, and I haven't hit any shots today, and my shoulder is really quite horrible, so I'll probably struggle a little bit. But guys, the ball striking I had yesterday, it was the best I've ever had. I mean, when I came back in 91, I mean, my ball striking was amazing. I mean, and I had it for a long time, but I had sort of a jury-rigged or bits and pieces compilation of the complete atomic particle or the complete Mo mechanics. And it'll never be complete. It's always Mo mechanics according to JH, and relative to my limitations and the fact that I've never swung or ever confessed to swing anything like Mo Norman. And my swing doesn't look anything like his. But then I haven't seen anybody's that does. Been some guys that swing with the essence of his process, but I haven't seen anyone that swing like Mo, because no one was really built like Mo. And when I say totally, it's the whole flow, the motion, everything in Mo's swing. A few guys that visually look like him a bit, but I've never seen anyone with his tempo or his flow mechanism or the way he starts the swing, and we never will, I don't think. Same as we'll never see anyone like Hogan. I've never seen anyone like Hogan, and there's been some pretenders, but I've never seen anyone like Hogan. I know my good friend Martin Ayres, when Marty, a few years ago, when Marty was right on top of his most powerful move in golf. I mean, I saw some video of him and he just looked like a bigger version of Hogan. He was just extraordinary. He's probably the closest I've ever seen that comes to it. I mean, the guy, My Swing Revolution guy, he's got a nice swing and a lot of Hogan stuff in there, but he's got that slow, laconic type action. He hasn't got that snap and zip that Hogan's got, but he's got beautiful mechanics and he hits the ball great. So, you know, like, we'll never see anybody like those two guys ever hit it, and mine will never be like that. Anyway, Joe, it's enough of the digressing. So what we've got to do, guys, we've got to make sure that we just pull it around the rib cage on the backswing. We let it move this way. We move that trail leg in this fashion here, so it's all part of that. That laying down is part of that movement of the trail leg. Now that's a very subtle move, and a lot of you guys won't be able to get that. And again, it depends on how flexible you are in those hip extensors and how much external rotation you can get on your femur, where it goes into the pelvis, how tight that joint is. I mean, mine's very tight. Okay guys, I'm going to hit a couple and they'll probably be pretty scratchy today because I'm struggling with this rotator cuff. But this is what I term, guys, the whole kit and caboodle for me. I won't be going any further looking for other particles or bits. I'm just going to refine what I've got here, and I will keep going forward. I will keep explaining the intrinsic understanding of these particular particles and these moves, because they are difficult and they require a lot of explanation, no question about that. Okay, now the weather's really coming in here. We're going to get some horrendous weather, apparently 100k winds and 100 millimeters of rain, so it's pretty horrible right now. So okay guys, so let's see if we can get a little bit of that and I haven't got a terminology for this. I don't know what I can call that. It is a backload, but I mean that's not the word off, or the classification of terminology that we need to describe it. I'll come up with something. But for the time being, we'll just say it's an external rotation of the rotator cuff on the downswing. Okay, so we're just going to, and guys, we really just see if we can hit a couple with all the particles in play. Oh, that's not bad for the first shot of the day. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Over and above, I just feel like I've been shot in the shoulder by with a 50 caliber round. That pain is excruciating, and I felt that yesterday, you know, a couple of days ago when I did it in the gym. I thought, whoops, I don't like the feel of that. And of course, when you're old, it takes a long time to get better. But I'll get the right stuff into me to feed the muscles. Okay guys, and here we go, and we'll really drop this. I'm really sitting on that front leg. Really sitting on that front leg. We had to come over here, guys, really with the cows today, and this hasn't been mowed for a week, and it is just terrible. Okay, we're going to get a lot of external rotation on the downswing. And as I've always said, guys, the good thing about the mow swing, even when you're scratchy and cold, or you could even be struggling with a little injury that I've got here, because the swing is so mechanically sound, you can second and third groove it and you still hit it dead straight. I mean, that takes nothing off those shots, and they were about 80% value. It takes nothing off them. Now those three balls are just like a yard, like in a yard triangle up there. And there's nothing going on with that swing at all right now. Well, let's see if we can really get that rotator cuff back load. That's pretty good. That's really good. That's really good. I mean, I'm struggling, but the shots are great. Okay, now get nice tempo on the backs, on the backswing. Wow. Now that was a lot of atomic particle there, right at the bottom. Whew. Really got that. Really got that. That was, I normally hit it dead straight. That just, and when I hit it like that and I release it hard like that, these, as I said before, these soft shafts really do just kick over a little bit, and that's like about a 3-yard hard power draw. But it's not horrible. It's all right. I mean, they're all eminently acceptable. Every one of them. Let's see if we can really get that backload going. And I've got to just be a little smoother to get that backload. Like that. Wow, that's good, guys. It's good for JH. That's 20 in the air past those first couple of shots. It's what I term effortless power. You really do get effortless power. Quite amazingly so. And it feels like I can never get back to the golf ball. It feels like that club is never going to get back. And I don't worry about that. I just let it happen. They're good shots. And that's a very stiff and actually quite painful golf swing. Let's see if we can really put a good backload on this, get that pressure on that right heel. Now guys, you'll never see me in the position you see Mo in, here. Because I can't bring myself to pull that hard. Because I'm actually very strong. Even though I'm right-handed, I've got the same strength in my left hand. I can actually pull the club past the ball. And I had that problem when I first came back in '91. I actually pulled it straight past the ball. I was actually, really trying to pull as hard as I could. And I was just pulling it straight past the golf ball. Alright. That could be as good a 5-iron as I've ever hit in all the thousands or millions of shots. Well, not millions, but probably a million. I've probably hit 1 million balls with the Mo Norman system in the 21 years that I've been exposed to it. But that could be as good as any that I've never hit one better than that. Okay, so we'll really try and get that external rotation. Guys, the thing that really is fantastic with this golf swing is that just the ball doesn't move. You don't get wides. You might get a little push or a tiny little pull, but there's no wides. None. All right. Let's see if we can really put a bit of hammer time on this. Yeah. When I said that other 5-iron was the best one I've ever hit since I've been with Mo Norman. Now beware the wounded tiger, they say. My shoulder really is quite horrendous. Okay guys, we'll just pause there. I don't know why every day I say check the batteries. We've got a flashing light, guys, so we'll just pause here, then I'll come back. I'll just explain a little bit more and we'll hit a few down range so you can see some back on and I'll get right in front of the camera.